that you've made in dentistry. So I don't have apprehension about coming here. My background is in accounting. I'm a CPA. I've been a practicing accountant for about 23 years. I started off working for Ernst & Young, which is one of the 4 largest accounting firms in the country. Spent 9 years there. Thereafter, I worked for a tax attorney who has since retired, and I've inherited most of the clients from his practice. Our firm is called the Optimal Financial Group, and I'm one of 3 founding members. We have a tax attorney and an enrolled agent who spent 15 years as a group manager with the IRS. The topic of today's discussion is the blueprint to your financial future. Overall, our goal is to develop an action plan that will allow you to reduce your taxes, while at the same time providing an environment that gives you more protection for your assets. And ultimately, we want to show you how you can shorten the time frame it takes for you to reach your financial freedom goals by 5, 7, or more years. Okay? We believe in a comprehensive approach to financial planning, where we address all of the major areas in your financial life. So asset protection planning is one of those issues. With asset protection planning, we want to design a plan that eliminates any personal liability for you as business owners or investors. We want to look at ways to protect the underlying equity in your financial life. Risk management is about insurance. Do I have the appropriate types and levels of insurance coverage? Tax mitigation. We want to design a plan that gives you enough cash flow or income from your practice to live comfortably, to support your lifestyle. But we want to do that in a tax-advantaged manner. We then want to work very aggressively to say, how much excess income do I have in my financial life? We want to move that income into an environment where we have the ability to control how it's taxed. And there's a number of strategies that we can implement to fulfill that objective. Entity structuring is probably the single most important issue in your financial life. Anytime you use a business structure, whether it's a corporation or an LLC or a partnership, there's a legal and a tax consequence to that decision. We want to choose those business structures that have the best fit for us from a legal and an accounting perspective. So when we design a plan, we put entities in your plan that make best sense for you from a legal and tax perspective. Wealth accumulation is essentially financial freedom planning. We all want to get to some point in our life where we can retire financially free. Based upon the amount of investment capital we have today and some estimate of rate of return, we need to determine how much we need to save every year. Okay? We need to monitor our progress in our portfolio to determine if we're going to reach our objective. And then we need to make changes in the variables we have control over. Asset management is simply looking at the overall investment capital relative to how it's invested amongst the various asset classes based upon your tolerance for risk. When we do an evaluation of your investment portfolio, we look at the underlying securities, we compare them to benchmarks, we look at the fees you're paying, are they reasonable, are they industry standards, and we give you a recommendation. We don't do asset management within our organization. We will refer you to people that I believe do that very well, but we've been around that industry for our entire lives, and we'll give you an independent, honest opinion, probably something you haven't gotten in the past. So to get all of these major areas addressed in your financial life, you'd probably have to go to 5 or 6 different professionals. And I guarantee you, you would get inconsistent recommendations. How many times have you gone to your accountant and been told one thing, then gone to your attorney, then been told something entirely different? I hear that all the time. So working with CPAs, I'm a CPA, but I don't do tax preparation work. Most CPAs get so inundated with doing form work and filling out forms and preparing taxes, they have absolutely no time to spend with you planning. Okay, how many times did your accountant say, it's time for a quarterly review to look at your profit and loss and determine what's the best tax strategy? Normally, you bring your financial data to your accountant after the close of the year, and he says, okay, well, this is how much you have to pay based upon what happened last year. They're very good historians. They don't do planning very, very well. Most don't. So what we do is we have completely segregated the planning function from the preparation function. We have an entire department that does nothing but preparation and don't do any preparation. Accounting has become very specialized. It's hard to find tax strategists. Okay? The other thing is you don't want an accountant that's the advocate of the IRS. Okay? There are a number of ways with proper entity structuring that you can mitigate the effects of taxation. Most of you have probably never looked at that. Working with attorneys, most attorneys, unless they're a tax attorney, don't know the tax aspects of entity structuring. Okay? They want you to form an entity typically for every different type of activity or investment you plan to make. That's not necessarily the best recommendation. Okay? So you need to have a team that integrates both the legal and the accounting profession. Insurance agents. Okay? Insurance agents and financial planners often have many disagreements. Insurance agents want to sell you typically expensive whole life insurance contracts that pay high commissions. If you have a whole life insurance contract, that first year premium payment you made, all of it went to a commission. Okay? Whole life insurance has its place typically in an estate planning environment, but it's not necessarily the best insurance plan for you. We look at that. If you have insurance policies, we take a look at the declaration page, and we get an in-force illustration, so I guarantee you the projections that were given to you when that insurance contract was sold are not what has happened in reality as that contract has progressed through its life cycle. So we'll compare at what rate cash value has been credited to your policy, compare it to the in-force illustrations, and we'll make a recommendation about what is the best form of insurance.